Bienvenidos a Gracias por tu servicio, el podcast con la intención de hablar sobre los temas relevantes de los militares, veteranos y veteranas de Puerto Rico. En el episodio de hoy estaremos hablando con Gehrig Franco sobre las 10 mejores películas de guerra de los últimos 20 años. Bienvenidos a un episodio bono de Gracias por tu servicio. En el episodio de hoy estaremos hablando con Gehrig Franco sobre las mejores películas de guerra de los últimos 20 años. Antes de comenzar, quiero compartir que el primer episodio oficial de nuestra tercera temporada será publicada el 8 de septiembre. Como mencioné, hoy discutiremos las mejores películas de guerra de los últimos 20 años. Quiero señalar que algunas de estas películas pueden ser recuerdos dolorosos para algunos de nuestros oyentes, ya que son basados en conflictos reales y reflejan el sufrimiento, coraje, resentimiento y arrepentimiento que ocurre en ellos. Our guest for this episode is Gehrig Franco, who is a film student, film enthusiast, and the creator of the website and now YouTube channel, Movie Mania Entertainment. Welcome to our podcast, Gehrig.
Buenas tardes, Senor Ortiz. Today is a very openly exciting opportunity to be here and discussing the top 5 war movies of the 2000s.
Thanks for that, and thanks for including us in this list. I'm pretty sure the military community will be looking forward to the list, and I'm pretty sure they'll have some interesting comments about who you ranked where, because some of the movies really hold a dear space for them. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you have for us. The first question I want to ask you is what kind of reviews you guys do.
Well, let's go way back to lockdown, back in 2020. I started this movie page due to boredom and, loss of interest in the activities that I was constantly pursuing. So I suddenly got the bright idea of opening up a movie Instagram and soon to be movie page. But after all that, I only did a couple of reviews, and then for a year I took a break. But then I suddenly got back into it with posting more movie news on my Instagram page. And I started doing movie reviews on my movie account, which is on Wix.
What list have you made that stands out to you?
Well, the reviews I do on my movie page, they're all different types of movies. There's not really a certain one I go by. I usually just watch a movie, whether it's new or old. I'll just review it as either just a solo, or I'll do it as part of a weekly watch. And now I have my YouTube page up, and it's titled Movie Mania Entertainment, just like Instagram and my Wix page. And on there, I try to combine all aspects and elements of a movie into one huge thing.
Okay, so what kind of reviews do you do? Is there anything particular that stands out that you do for your audience?
I don't really go by what they want. I usually just do whatever my heart tells me and whatever I feel like posting. And now that I have my YouTube page up, I hope to expand on it a little more and not do the same thing I was doing on the Instagram page.
Sure. So I mentioned that you're a film student. Why did you decide to study film, and what type of projects would you like to be doing in the future as a film student?
I've always had a huge interest in film since I'm 8 years old. And before starting college, I really didn't know what I wanted to study. And halfway through my very first semester in college, I suddenly got the idea of majoring in film. And my hope for the future is continue writing scripts like I do in my free time and make it as either an actor or successful screenwriter.
That sounds interesting. Hopefully we could see you on the big screen, on the credits and something like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be very exciting.
So what made you do this particular list about war movies in the last 20 years?
Good question. When I was offered the opportunity to be featured on this podcast, I decided to go into the top war movies of the 2000s and came across incredibly popular flicks like Black Hawk Down, Hurt Locker, The Lone Survivor, American Sniper, 12 Strong, and so many more that we'll go into.
Before we go into the list, are there any movies that you left out of the list?
Yeah, a couple of them, which feature The Green Zone, Fury, 1917, and happily being able to watch We Were Soldiers on the 4th of July.
That's cool. I actually know a veteran that was part of one of the battles and We Were Soldiers. He actually gets mentioned in the book. I'm trying to get the book so he could sign it for me because it's one of those stories that when you see it, it pumps you up. Like many war movies, they kind of pump you up, make you proud of the work that at least I've done and my fellow service members have done as well. So if you left that one out in 1917, which is probably one of my favorites of the last couple of years, I'm excited to hearing about who you have in your top 10. So start off the list whenever you're ready.
My number 10 on my list is 12 Strong, as it tells the story of the U.S. Army forces coming together to fight and help the Northern Alliance after the 9/11 attacks, starring Chris Hemsworth, alongside Rob Riggle, who was a real-life Marine.
Yeah, so 12 Strong, I hadn't seen it for whatever reason. I don't know. It's one of those movies that I probably said I'll watch it later on. There's parts in the movie that are kind of slow, but for the most part, interesting. It's about the special forces group that went into Afghanistan after 9/11. Their mission was so important to what transpired afterwards in Afghanistan. So that's a good one to start off.
Thank you.
Bin Laden has been financing the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, setting up terrorist training camps all over Afghanistan. He's had one big win on U.S. soil. He wants another. And if we don't stop him, there will be more. Bin Laden might be the brains, but make no mistake about it, in Afghanistan, the Taliban is the muscle. If we remove them from power, he can't use them to make his attacks.
Mazar-e-Sharif. Whoever controls that city controls Afghanistan. If we take Mazar from the Taliban, then we cripple bin Laden.
Well, that's half right. If you're going to interrupt me, you should probably be entirely right.
Okay, number 9 on my list is Flags of Our Fathers, as it shows the inspiring true story of the veteran setting the flag during the time of World War II and Battle of Iwo Jima. And both my great-grandfathers served in World War II. Knowing that both my great-grandfathers served, it gives me more of a reason to watch and to understand what they went through.
It's actually based on a book of the same name. And for those of us that have seen the iconic picture of the 5 servicemen putting up the flag, it's actually 4 Marines and a Navy corpsman. Unfortunately, I haven't seen the whole movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I know who's in it. So after this recording, I'll probably have to get into it.
Lieutenant! Captain says he wants that flag.
He wants this flag?
Yes, sir.
We just put the damn thing up.
Yes, sir.
Some kind of flag shortage?
He wants you to put this one up instead.
Hey, Mike. Can you do me a favor? You put this up, will you?
Yes, sir. All right, let's find a pole.
Take the flag down, boys. Captain's order. You heard him. Let's do it.
All right, hang on. So, what a hell of a view.
View from up here, yes, I'd say something.
Number 8 on my list was another World War II story, Unbroken, that tells an inspiring true story of an Olympic runner turned military veteran, Louis Zamperini, who fights his way through with his fellow veteran in World War II after being stranded on a raft for 3 to 4 days.
Directed by Angelina Jolie. One of the first criticisms that the movie had when it came out, it was from the Japanese community, which wanted it banned in Japan. That was one of the first controversies it had. And as far as the story per se, one of the things that happened was that they left out or omitted Zamperini's battle with alcoholism and PTSD, which they felt was more essential and truer to his story afterwards.
You are enemies of Japan. You will be treated accordingly. Look at me. Look me in the eye.
Now, number 7 on my list was one of my personal favorites, Inglourious Basterds. Despite its fully fictional storyline, but kind of relational to World War II and the Holocaust. And what really got me was the cast lineup, who consisted of Brad Pitt, Christoph Waltz, Daniel Bruhl, Mike Myers, and many more familiar faces you'll recognize as you watch.
Very quotable movie. Amazing performances by Christoph Waltz, who won an Academy Award for his portrayal.
Well, I'm very familiar with you and your family. I have no way of knowing if you are familiar with who I am. Are you aware of my existence?
Yes.
This is good. Now, are you aware of the job I've been ordered to carry out in France?
Yes.
Please tell me what you've heard.
I've heard that the Führer has put you in charge of rounding up the Jews left in France, who are either hiding or passing for Gentile.
The Führer couldn't have said it better himself.
Number 6 on my list was another one of my favorites, Hacksaw Ridge. It's directed by Mel Gibson, who also directed Passion of the Christ back in 2004. And it was just incredible seeing Andrew Garfield as the great World War II hero Desmond T. Doss, and how he lived through the 6th commandment, thou shalt not kill.
Desmond Doss was actually a combat medic, and he decided to live by his faith and decided that he would rather save people than kill people.
Let's go.
I got extra guard duty today, and I'm on KP this morning, so...
All right, Doss. Private Doss, can you identify the men that beat you?
No, Sarge.
Are you saying that you don't know who attacked you?
I never said I was attacked, Sarge.
Well, what the hell are you saying, Doss? You bruised half your body sleeping.
I sleep pretty hard.
Number 5 on my list was the very first movie I watched in preparation for this episode, Black Hawk Down, and it did an absolutely phenomenal job in relating a lot to what happened in real life. The writing, storyline, and acting in this movie was so well done given the actors' dialogue.
Based on the Battle of Somalia, pretty much everything that could have gone wrong actually went wrong. There's certain things of the movies they actually teach you in the military because of what happened there.
When I go home, people ask me, "Hey, Hoot, why do you do it, man? Why? You some kind of war junkie?" I won't say a goddamn word. Why? They won't understand. They won't understand why we do it. They won't understand it's about the men next to you. And that's it. That's all it is.
All right, number 4 on my list was Hurt Locker. And the two main things that occurred to me a lot in a greatly inspiring way was Jeremy Renner and his acting alongside other fellow Avengers star Anthony Mackie, as they both play soldiers fighting in Iraq in hopes to avenge their staff sergeant's death after the infusion of a bomb occurs during the second year of the Iraq War.
Quick story here. When I returned from Iraq in 2011, we saw this movie afterwards with my family. And it's one of the first times I experienced a panic attack while watching a movie. And a lot of us veterans, if the movie is close to what we've experienced, we kind of get that feeling. And I remember feeling that way in the living room with my wife and my kids and trying to figure out what was going on because I started feeling a little funny or queasy and whatnot. And the sights of what I was watching reminded me of a place where I was over there in Iraq. Another fact about the movie, a lot of the EOD guys, which are the explosive guys over there, they kind of don't like the movie because it shows a lot of things that they wouldn't have done, which takes away from the movie, but it's well shot, well directed. It's up there for me as well.
You're a wild man, you know that? Huh? I want to shake your hand. Thank you, sir. Yeah. How many bombs have you disarmed?
I'm not quite sure.
Sergeant.
Yes.
Asked your question.
873.
873. 873. That's just hot shit. 873.
They're counting today, sir, yes.
That's got to be a record. What's the best way to go about disarming one of these things?
The way you don't die, sir.
That's a good one. That's spoken like a wild man.
Number 3 was The Lone Survivor, an amazing biographical war movie taking place in Afghanistan, telling the true story of Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell, played by Mark Wahlberg, taking on an intense mission in Afghanistan to take out Taliban leader Ahmad Shah, who was responsible for the many deaths of Marines and innocent villagers, in which Luttrell was the only veteran to have survived this dangerous mission, taking place on June 28th, 2005.
I'm actually reading the book right now as we speak. Book is a little bit different than the movie. It starts off way before they get to Afghanistan, and it focuses on how he became a Navy SEAL. And then probably by chapter 3 is when he's already speaking about the events that led to what transpired.
Been around the world twice, talked to everyone once, seen 2 whales been to 3 world fairs, and I even know a man in Thailand with a wooden I push more Peter, more sweeter, and more completer than any other Peter pusher around. I'm a hard-bodied, hairy-chested, rootin', tootin', shootin', parachuting, demolition, double cap, crimping frogman. There ain't nothing I can't do, no sky too high, no sea too rough, no muff too tough. Learned a lot of lessons in my life. Never shoot a large caliber man with a small caliber bullet. Drive all kinds of trucks. 2x, 4x, 6x. Those big motherfuckers that bend and go when you step on the brakes. Anything in life worth doing is worth overdoing. Moderation's for cowards. I'm a lover, I'm a fighter, I'm a UDT Navy SEAL diver. I'll wine, dine, intertwine, then sneak out the back door when the refueling is done. So if you're feeling froggy, then you better jump, because this frogman's been there, done that, and is going back for more. Cheers, boys.
Number 2 on my list, which was the one movie that made me cry watching fully, which was called American Sniper, as it tells the inspiring true story of Chris Kyle and his bravery during his battle in Iraq as a sniper, fighting to keep his team safe. Bradley Cooper does an incredible portrayal of Kyle, especially reminding us how he's also remembered for his motivation and ability to help other soldiers who were with him or injured in need.
Yeah, unfortunately, another tragic story about Chris Kyle, who was a Navy SEAL, had over 160 confirmed kills and dies tragically trying to help out another service member when he decides to take him to the range. And while he's changing the targets, the guy decides to open fire on both of them and kills them instantly.
Would you be surprised if I told you that the Navy has credited you with over 160 kills? Do you ever think that you might have seen things or done some things over there that you wish you hadn't?
Oh, that's not me, no.
What's not you?
I was just protecting my guys. They were trying to kill our soldiers, and I'm willing to meet my creator and answer for every shot that I took. The thing that haunts me are all the guys that I couldn't save. I'm willing and able to be there, but I'm not. I'm here. I quit.
You can walk down any hall in this hospital. We got plenty of soldiers need saving.
Mm-hmm.
Want to take a walk?
Sure.
Who's your number 1 movie if American Sniper and Lone Survivor are 2 and 3?
Another one of my personal favorites was Zero Dark 30.
So tell me why you believe Zero Dark 30 is better than the 9 that you just mentioned.
Well, in my opinion, it reminds me of how grateful we should all be that the people who are responsible for planning and agreeing to this fatal tragedy and finally bringing Osama bin Laden to justice since the 2000s wouldn't have been possible without the help of the CIA, since their work successfully led to the trail and destruction of Osama, who was finally taken out in May of 2011 by the Navy SEALs.
Excuse me.
So UBL, you got an intel source on the ground?
No.
No? Okay, so how do you know it's bin Laden? Because the truth is, we've been on this op before. It was '07, and it wasn't bin Laden, and we lost a couple of guys.
Totally understand. Bin Laden uses a courier to interact with the outside world. By locating the courier, we've located Bin Laden.
It's really the intel. That's it.
Quite frankly, I didn't even want to use you guys. With your dip and your Velcro and all your gear bullshit, I wanted to drop a bomb. But people didn't believe in this lead enough to drop a bomb. So they're using you guys as canaries in the theory that if Bin Laden isn't there, you can sneak away and no one will be the wiser. But Bin Laden is there. And you're gonna kill him for me.
All right. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people will defer or have other opinions about any of the movies that you put there. They'll probably say another movie, but that's actually what makes lists interesting. We all have our opinions. What's next for your website and for your YouTube channel? What do you have in store for us later on?
Well, I'm going to continue posting recent movie news on my Instagram page, reviews on my movie page on Wix, and on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be posting all elements of movies, which is going to be like hopeful opportunity to expand more on the movie page itself.
Awesome. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram under moviemania.03. And right in there, you'll find the link to my movie page, and you'll find the link to my YouTube account.
Well, Gehrig, thanks again for doing this list with us. It was very entertaining. I appreciate you coming on here, and hopefully we'll have another list pretty soon, huh?
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me the tremendous opportunity of being featured on this podcast.
The pleasure was ours. Nuevamente le damos las gracias a Gehrig Franco por su lista. Me gustaría saber si hay alguna película que no puso o la que le darías una posición más alta o más baja. Para apoyar nuestro proyecto, pueden seguirnos en Facebook, Instagram y YouTube. Y por último, solo falta decir...
Gracias por tu servicio.
Let me look it up.
Richard Tyson with a T.
Hey, we're getting there.
Yeah, how can I leave out the Hulk?